Okay. So that's awesome. So if you wouldn't mind spelling your name for me.
Stacey.
Stacey.
I'm gonna start my car here. So I'm in my car to get away from the house and everybody in it.
Oh, okay. So let me just see. And your birth year?
May 12th. Oh, sorry, 1977.
Okay. So in a past life, there's no doubt in my mind that you had suffered a heartbreak. So what this means is in this lifetime, you're very sensitive to any type of heartbreak. And that's what I find so fascinating about past life work. And I mean, I come from a place of recovery, and it was really interesting because when I looked at my response to what was going on with me in the present, I just went, no, there's got to be something underneath this, because if I balanced out my response, it was like so over the top. And so no doubt in my mind that for you, there would have been an emotional heartbreak in a past life. And so you would just feel more sensitive to any type of wounding. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Even as a little girl, like you would just be very sensitive to any type of wounding. And as well, this wounding that occurred in a past life, I mean, you took it completely personally.
Yeah.
So you're sensitive to even, you know, if you're in a store and somebody gives you a dirty look, like you just absolutely respond to that.
Yeah.
So just so you know, and a lot of times we'll feel like we're overly emotional or whatever. And there's no doubt that in your heart, there is a belief that you are driven in this life by your emotions.
Definitely.
What if you're wrong?
I don't know. I've never really it was funny yesterday because like I just started thinking about my past life. I'm starting to wonder like about it, and there's so much that is unexplained in my life because I'm so different than my family. I'm different than everybody, so I don't know much about. I know who I am, but there's so many mysteries that I still have that are underlying that I don't know, right?
Right. And all I know is one of your beliefs is that you are driven in this life by your emotions. And I'm here to say that everything you do is based in logic. Smart girl. 100%. Do I believe that you respond emotionally? Absolutely. Do I believe that you're very sensitive? Absolutely. Do I believe that you take things personally? Absolutely. But I guarantee you suffered a heartbreak in your past life that you have never recovered from. And so our soul brings that injury forward. So just so you know, it's not that you're weak. It's not like any of those things. It's just that you're very, very sensitive to any type of wounding. Your month?
May.
You're going to love this. In a past life, there is no doubt in my mind that you walked with Christ and that you witnessed what happened to him. And there is a part of your soul that has memory of that. And how that would translate in the present life is, I guarantee, even as a little girl, you felt guilty, or you felt like you have done something wrong, or you felt that you had this burden. And when a person, and for me, the number 5 is a highly spiritual number. And in fact, is probably for me the most spiritual number. This lets me know that your medicine comes through your crown, all through your entire body, and comes out your hands. 5 people are natural born healers, just 100%. They're sensitive, they're compassionate, they're loving, non-judgmental. They have absolute issues of worthiness. they feel like your soul literally feels guilty. And there's no doubt in my mind, like, think about it. You tell me what you have done that is so wrong.
Yeah.
You
Nothing.
know, so I mean, one thing I definitely would do is I would have a conversation with Christ and say, like, I was there. And it feels in this lifetime that you would have been 14 years old. And so you understand in this life that there is a huge fear of exposure for you.
Okay.
And what that means is you hesitate, like you're afraid that if you do something, there's going to be a confrontation, or there's going to be judgment, or there's going to be a battle, or there's going to be some sort of conflict. And so for you, you're just really sensitive to that. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not talking necessarily about like the Christian Christ that, a lot of people we sort of look at. Like, do I believe that Christ existed? You better believe I do. Do I believe that he was a healer? Yes, I do. Do I believe that he came at a time that was a very dangerous time? Absolutely. And the people in power were very threatened by his influence. But I also believe that Christ, written the Bible, it would be a very different book.
Hmm.
And so it's like just appreciating that you have, deep in your soul, there is this fear that somebody, and it's almost like your soul gets confused about what lifetime you're in. And so there's this fear that somebody's going to come up to you and say, you stood there and did nothing. And so it's really, I want you just to go for a walk today. Like, go for a beautiful walk and have a conversation with Christ and say, you know what? Like, I was there. I was a little girl. I couldn't pretend like it wasn't going on. And I just need to release myself from this memory. And I mean, like, you understand that you just have a beautiful heart.
Yes.
Like that, like if you and I were hanging out and I found $100 on the ground, I'd go, come on, Stacey, let's go for lunch. And you go, well, wait a second. Like, what if it's somebody's rent money, or what if it's somebody's
What if
grocery
they have
money?
what if they have children? What if that's all they have left? And I've done that before. Like, I found a wallet somewhere before, and I opened it up, just to get the ad. I felt guilty opening it, but I got the address so I could return it. It was around Christmas, and I'm like, what if they have kids? And like,
I know. And so if we were having lunch, like, you couldn't even eat, like, you couldn't even do it without feeling guilty. And
exactly.
that's a really beautiful quality. I mean, you just have this beautiful quality. And so far, you have two aspects in your numbers that let me know that you're just a sponge. And it's where you just take everything personally, and that you absorb the energy of guilt. And this is even with the family, and
Hmm.
it's because a part of you just feels guilty even before you arrived. Your day,
12th. It's my favorite
see,
day. It's the best day
and
ever.
see, this is the Empress energy. So it just, like, you understand that you're the most loving person on the planet. I mean, like, you can adopt me because I know anyone that you love, you just take care of them. Like, you are
100%.
100% there. Like, if they're in trouble, and even with strangers, you're very sensitive to anyone who is struggling. uh,
Yes.
See that? What kind of work do you do?
Um, I've done multiple different types of work. I actually was a PSW. I went to college to be a PSW, and I had to get out of it because it was too much. Like, I couldn't. There's so much about it that I couldn't do. Like the abuse and stuff that you see in there. And right now I'm a courier. I love being outside. I love moving. I love my job, but I cleaned houses for 12 years in Guelph. I had my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I like to be a leader. I like to be in charge. I have fantastic employees because I treat them like we're all equal, right? Like, so they love me. I love my work. Any work that I do, as long as my heart's in it, then
Yeah, and I mean, for 15 years before I started doing this work, I used to clean houses. It's still energy work. It
yeah, it is.
still is. And if I were you, I would invest in a deck of cards. And
Okay.
these would be angelic cards, like working with angels, working with guardians, helping people let go of their feelings of guilt. I mean, like, this is what I find is so interesting, right? Is like you would be the first person that would let somebody off the hook.
Yep.
Like, you would be the very first person that would say, oh, don't worry, it's fine. Like, I don't want you to feel bad. And you tell me a day in your life where you haven't felt bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that I'm starting, like, this new journey that I'm on right now. I find that I'm becoming a little bit more angry and I'm upset. Like I'm tired of people hurting me all the time, right? So I'm becoming a little bit more angry with that. So, but I don't know if it's anger or if it's just like I'm more passionate about the way people treat me because I'm so sensitive, right? Like it's something that I've had to really work on. I have to, when I make changes in my life, I have to prepare myself up here to be okay, to understand everything, right? I have to understand everything before I make a change. I feel
Okay, now just hang on, okay? I don't want you to tell me too much.
okay. Okay.
2017, what was going on there? That would be 3 years ago.
Um, I wanted to leave a relationship that I was in. I started wanting to leave. Um, I felt things change inside me. Um, Other than like, it's hard for me to go back. I try to keep, like, I was in a relationship. I don't know of anything, nothing that really stands out. That's,
This, whatever you would have come into, a spiritual truth. And
yeah.
I guarantee you, it would be connected with you feeling very dismissed. And that has led you to this place in this year in 2020. In 2020, what you're doing is you're planting seeds. And this is a time where you could reach out and go for counseling, take a Reiki course, buy a deck of cards, decide what you want to do. I mean, no doubt in my mind that you are taking a step to regaining your power. Next
Mhm.
year, you're just going to say no. I mean, you understand that you struggle with saying no.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn that now that I'm becoming more able to. It's not there yet, but guilt free. Say no guilt free is hard, right? So
And so all I'm saying to you is that you just need to practice it. Would you like more coffee? No, thank you. Would you like
yeah,
to take care of my kids this weekend? No, thank you. It's where you sort of just bring in that word no
yeah,
and know
yeah.
you have the right to. And because no doubt in my mind that forever you have said yes when you
God,
really
yeah.
would say want to say no. And the problem is that most people will not even challenge. They'll just absorb everything and not even challenge you. And
Mhm.
so I want you to say no. This is your no year. And it's
Okay.
just, for some people, it's a yes year.
Yeah.
Last year for me was a yes year. Do you want to go online? Sure. Do you want to come and do this? Sure. Like, I just was in a yes year. And so this year for you is no. And that's what I love about when people have a reading with me, like, use me. Use me. I don't mind. It's
Yeah.
like I talked to this numerologist, and she told me in a past life that I came into this present life with all of this guilt, and it robbed me of being able to say no. And she has challenged me to say no. So
Mhm.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And this is what's really great. You deserve to know that there is room for your no.
Mhm.
I'll share with you. I was one of my really good friends. She used to like to go to the bar, and I just didn't. I mean, it just wasn't working for me anymore. But she was one of the people in my life that stuck around when, like, everybody else seemed to have left.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for me to say no, but I finally had to say no. And I said to her, I am not going to say yes just to keep you comfortable.
Yeah.
And I have the right to say no without feeling guilty, because I'm
Yeah.
not going to the bar anymore, you know? So I want you to say no. Ready? Right hand up. Up. I,
I,
in the year,
in the year,
am commit in the year 2020,
in the year 2020,
am committed
am committed
to say no
To say no.
Without
Without
feeling guilty.
feeling guilty.
Amen. It's like, and I'm going to
Amen.
give it to you again. Ready?
I'm ready.
Up you go. I
I
have
have
the absolute
the absolute
right
right
to say
to say
no.
no.
Good. Good for you. It's a powerful, empowering thing that you're going to give back to your life. I mean, and it's where you say no. I mean, think about it. Like the very first word any kid says is not mama,
No.
not dada, it's no.
Yeah.
And I mean, we rob our children from being able to say no without feeling guilty. And I know I did it to my daughter. Do you want to go to bed? No. Do you want to eat this? No. You know what I say to her? If you say no once more, I'm going to kill you, right? So, I mean, it's being able to step back into your power of no. This would be, let me just see, 2008. That would be a big year for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had my baby girl,
And her name,
Caitlin.
how do you spell?
Katelyn.
And her birth year
2008.
and the month
March. I had to think about that. March
and the day.
17th, my little St. Patty's Day girl.
And do you want to know something? Here's something very cool. Do you believe your daughter needs to learn how to say no without feeling guilty?
I don't, she's very, she seems older for her age. She seems like she seems,
There's no
she
doubt, but I want you just to answer my question.
okay.
Do you believe that your daughter should have the ability to being able to say no without feeling guilty?
I'm almost positive she can do that already. There might be some things that, naturally, like she.
Yeah, and so for you, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, do you think it's a coincidence that you have a daughter that can say no and a mother that can't?
Yeah.
And you see, if your daughter has the ability to say no and you don't have the ability to say no, that she will shield you.
Mm-hmm.
And would you want her to have that responsibility?
No.
Good. Then you get to shield yourself.
Yeah. Like I'm realizing that I'm now that we're on our own, like I'm realizing that I have to set this extreme example for her to show her, I gotta teach her, right? So I want her to see, strength and beauty and everything, right? So, she's not responsible for, yeah.
It's good. 1999, you would have been 22.
1999, 22.
And 1990 would be another big year. And 1981. So you would have been 4
Would have
years
been
old.
4. Yeah.
Yep. Do you have any memory when you were 4?
I remember, I think when I was 3, we moved, it was 3 or 4. We moved from one house to another. My parents, they bought another house, and I remember moving. Do I remember being 4? I don't know. Like I don't, unless I'm given a time or an instance, I can go back that way. But I don't have I don't know my age when I go back.
Okay. Well, all I know is if you look at that would have been just before you'd gone to school. And so just so you know, it's just those are your years would be 1981, 1990, 1999, 2008. And so those and 2017. Your mother's birth year?
48.
And the month?
April
And the day?
4th.
Wow. Like you understand that she's a bit of a wall. And that for you, like I mean, and it's not like she's not this lovely person. She just is very reserved emotionally.
Oh yeah.
And she, no doubt, would parent you through a look.
And a tone. Yeah.
That's right. And so just so you know, and I guarantee that she had, like, think about it. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. From now until June, that's how long we're in the body of our mothers. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And if you believe what I believe, that if we come from the body of a female that is anxious or who has confidence issues or has guilt issues, that we would absorb that emotion as we're developing inside the body of our mothers. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
And like you understand that you're a record keeper, that you cling to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And do you see how you would even cling to the absorption of someone else's emotions, even though they're not yours?
Yes.
Okay, let me just see what was going on with your mother when she had you.
I feel like my birthday is like the best day on the planet. That is.
See, with you, you have a soul contract with your mother. So this may involve, and we're going to check into this, but it's almost as if you were contracted in a past life to take on her history, her emotional issues, anything that she didn't express because she had a reserve and she didn't have the freedom to speak how she felt, that you would express that on her behalf. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I can't really speak with her about anything. She's set, right? So we have a very difficult relationship. I
And
love my
I
mother.
mean, right. But it's just that you're just completely opposite people. Like you're very spiritual
Oh yeah.
based.
Yeah.
And she is absolutely more like, you need a good job. You need to make sure you have money. You got to have this. You got to have that. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that even having, and don't get me wrong, no doubt in my mind, she's a beautiful mother, but
She is
just the word pressure for
yeah.
you, pressure.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. It's one
And
way. Like it's got to be this way, right? Like so, and I'm a color outside the lines, and just I'm a yeah. I'm my own person,
like,
right?
do you honestly think that that's a coincidence that here's this beautiful kind of easygoing moves all like this that has a mother that is rigid? And so, and this is what's really beautiful, is you have the opportunity to say no and kind of come into your own power with your mother. And and I don't mean about being angry. It's like I'm that's one thing my daughter taught me, and it's a real drag in a sense. But what I learned was I do not own her.
Yeah.
I don't. And she has the freedom to make decisions in her life that I may not agree with, but she has the freedom to make those decisions anyways. And so for you, here's this beautiful little sensitive girl that just wants to please, and you didn't get what you needed in terms of a mother saying, oh, you're so beautiful, I'm so grateful,
Yeah.
you're so amazing. And so that would undermine your confidence because you would have been so intuitive as a little girl.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I guarantee that you're the complete opposite with your daughter. It's like,
Oh
oh, I
God,
love
yeah.
you, I love you, I love you, you're beautiful, you're amazing. And
Yeah,
you know
Mom.
what?
Yeah.
So it's, and in some ways, that's the beauty of our parents, you know, and not getting what we needed. Often it makes us better, more sensitive parents. And that's a gift. Your father's birth year?
I believe it's 44. That's something I was thinking about that when we were doing Kim's. I'm going, oh, what's my dad's? Is it 40? Because they're 4 years apart. I'm going to say 44.
Okay. And his month?
December.
And his day?
9th.
Wall.
Mm.
Wall.
Ah. Mm.
I guarantee that both of your parents would not want you to end up a bum.
No.
Like there'd be no way in this world. And they're both are very driven by what they own. Like their house is very
Yeah.
important to them.
Yeah.
Their money is very important to them.
Yes.
Their security is very important to them. They
Yeah.
have a fear of losing everything. And so
Yes.
all I know is that you don't even kind of look at that.
They work very hard for everything that they have as well. Like they're very driven that way. Yeah.
And there's no doubt, but all I'm saying is that for you, you're the type of person that, yes, it's important to you to have a nice home for your daughter, but it's not like you're going to live in a palace. It's not like you're going to
No.
drive the most expensive car. It's
No.
not like any of that. And so
Yeah.
it's just like, that's what I love, right? Is when we realize like my parent, like they're nothing like me. Like my
Yeah.
father, he used to go, I don't want to talk about my emotions because they make me stressed. It's like, oh my gosh, Dad. Like, so it's like really being able to appreciate that coming from a past life where we had the injury or we've experienced some sort of loss early in our life, that we're just highly sensitive. And so there's no doubt that your father would have a difficult time expressing his emotions. Your
Yeah.
mother would have a difficult time expressing her emotions. So
Mm.
you would have absorbed all of that.
Yeah.
And so that's what's so really beautiful is you're in a year where you're trying to renegotiate that. One thing
Yeah.
I definitely would do if I were you is I would just write down every person that you know on a piece of paper, every single person that has that is present in your life. And beside their name, you can write a D or an N. D are for people that drain you, where you just feel drained, where you feel like you're just absorbing their emotion. And then I want you to look at the ones with the N that nourish you. And the people that nourish you, that's where you want to really spend more of your energy. And I truly believe that in a past life that you experienced a loss. And so for you, there's a bit of grip around you. You may grip in terms of your children. You may grip just emotionally. And so it doesn't surprise me that you came into this life with parents that didn't really, they didn't really give you that comfort that you needed that would have calmed down that grip. And
Yeah.
so that grip literally would be in your stomach. And I mean, because you didn't receive what you needed as a child, and it's not like you just need somebody all the time telling you how beautiful you are, but there just is this grief inside of you that you just didn't get what you needed.
Yeah.
And so if I were to ask you, what did you not receive from your parents that you needed?
The emotional love, like the love, I'm proud of you. You're doing what, like I found that I was always looking for that, and I wanted to know everything was okay, and I wanted to know that I was good enough. Like.
Right. And I mean, it's really amazing because they're withholding their expression of love for you has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your goodness. It has nothing to do with your worthiness. It just means that they just didn't know how to be emotionally transparent and generous. And so it's like, and this is one thing I think is really beautiful. It's where we can just love them anyway.
Yeah.
It's like I'm maybe different and I didn't receive this and I needed it and it changed who I am. It changed how I feel about myself. It changed everything. But that's what you're doing in this year is you're trying to give that to yourself. And you see that in your life when you're conditioned not to receive these beautiful messages about how much you're loved, that we often will draw people to us that give us nothing as well.
Yeah. Yep.
And so like with you, I mean, guaranteed when you are you single at the moment?
I am.
When you're ready, when you go out to meet somebody, number one, they've got to be at least 5 years older than you.
Yeah.
And they have to be a person that is like a tower, solid, confident, warm, and generous. And
Mhm.
I swear, I can just feel it. I just feel like somebody's going to come into your life
Oh,
that you just won't even expect. But here's the truth. I could put you in a room right now with 10 really healthy, confident guys or girls, whatever turns out, it doesn't matter to me.
guys. Yeah.
And I guarantee that you would not know how to be around that.
Yeah, probably. You're right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you just wouldn't know how to be able to receive. So this year, what I really want you to do is I want you to allow yourself to receive. So whether it's going to get a massage, whether it's going to get, like an Indian head massage, whether
Mhm.
it's going to get your nails done, whether it's going to buy yourself a beautiful little, something that you love, it's
Mm.
where you start to not it's where you just allow yourself to receive. Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, yes, it's lovely to have a partner. I mean, my hubby brought me home flowers last night. It's so beautiful. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's also up to me to be able to, allow myself to receive as well. I'm
Yeah.
going to pick some cards and we're going to look at
Sure.
what energy you have brought forward from a past life that would have an impact on you now in the present.
Okay. Sure.
Here is the first card I have for you.
An elephant.
And the thing about an elephant, if you look at this picture, this elephant has chains on him. And
Oh.
so this lets me know that this elephant, they're devoted, they're kind, and there's no doubt in my mind that you have suffered for a long time without speaking your truth, that you
Mhm.
haven't really allowed yourself. And so there's no doubt in my mind. And because you're very sensitive, you would carry all of those injuries. So
Mhm.
one thing that would be really good is being able to acknowledge what your wounds are, because for you at the moment when you say there's all this anger coming, underneath it is grief. So
Mhm.
it's where you sort of look at your injuries, and there's no doubt in my mind, if you were to look and honor those, that it will also help you to release some of the grief that you came into. Like,
Mm.
think about the grief and all the unsettled emotion from that past life walking with Christ. I mean, that in itself is huge. Having a conversation with Christ and just being able to release yourself from that, it kind of opens up the channel for you to be able just to feel liberated and free, and that you have the freedom to be able to make your own decisions, that you don't want to be judged, you don't want to be afraid of any kind of conflict or confrontation. So
Yeah.
it's really about appreciating that and this is one thing that no doubt in my mind, last year you would have created a boundary, and that for you is huge. You
Yeah.
saying no more, I'm
Yeah.
drawing a line. That for you, it took you from 1977
Yeah.
until last year in order to make that happen. But the really amazing thing is you did it, and it would
Yeah.
have been hard, but you did it.
Yeah.
Let me draw you another card here. No doubt you came into this life where you felt you had no power
Mhm.
because of what you witnessed, and like you witnessed it, but you had no power. So
Mhm.
there is a part of you that believes that you are powerless, and this comes from a past life as well.
Mhm.
And the fact that you're moving from a 3-year, which is a seed year, into a 4-year, the 4-year is all about empowerment. It is all
Mhm.
about leadership. It is all about taking back our power. It's all about doing the opposite of what we normally do. And that's what I want you to do. No matter what you do, okay, I've got to get you to do this. Ready? Right hand up.
Mm.
I
I
am
am
committed
committed
to do
to do
the absolute
the absolute
opposite
opposite
of what
Of what
I normally do.
I normally do.
I want you to come out of your comfort zone. I want you just to say, this is how I'd normally respond, and I'm not doing this. I'm going to do something different. And I mean, because you understand, when we're wounded, we sort of surround ourselves and insulate ourselves and just do the same thing. Like it's like this ritual, and we just say nothing, or we do this. So I want you to do the absolute opposite of what you normally do.
I've just started doing that. Like I'm trying to change a lot of things. I'm afraid that I'm going to lose who I am inside. Like I don't want to lose. I feel beautiful inside. I feel so peaceful and beautiful. Like I love who I am. I absolutely love who I am. It's beautiful. Even my bad stuff feels good. Like it's, and I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose my soft. I don't want to lose my sensitive. And I don't want to, like, I feel like if I'm going to be strong and bold, and I don't want to lose my empathetic. I don't want to lose like any of that stuff. I'm afraid to change
So
that.
you want to know something? I have to say this to you. There is no way in this world that your sensitivity is going anywhere.
You promise?
This is just about you stopping your suffering so you can
Okay.
be more authentic.
Okay.
Like, I mean, honestly, like there is nothing that you can do that is going to take away this sensitive, tender heart that you have. There's nothing. But it's just about you being more honest. I mean, think about it. If we look at saying yes when we really mean no, right? It's like, if I were to put it this way, why do you think it is so important to me that when I say no, I mean no? Why do you think that's so important to me?
Um, because well, when I say no, I don't want to do it. Like it's hard though. Like I'm trying to relate for myself. Like saying no, it's it takes away that feeling of you're doing something that you don't want to do, right? Like it's
Okay, so I'm just going to keep you with me, right? Why do you think it is so important to me that when I say no, I mean no?
honesty. I don't know. It's being honest with yourself. I'm not sure I know how to answer the question.
I can tell you. So
Okay.
that way you can trust me.
Right. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to say yes and then, really want to say no, because if you find out, then you're not going to trust me.
Yeah.
So for you, it's
Yeah.
about being empowered. It's about being able to say no so you can be honest, because you understand that you have a very strong moral fabric inside of you, and
Mm.
this is old. So
Yeah.
if you say yes when you mean no, then you just feel like you're not being authentic, you're not
Yeah.
being real. And so that's why and I mean, but in terms of you being afraid that all that's going to go away, oh my gosh, it would never go away. You could
Okay.
go to jail for 25 years doing hard time and you'd still come out with this sensitive, beautiful
Okay.
heart. Like, just so you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Here's, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no way it's going to go away. So it's
Okay.
like really being able to appreciate like all of that, right? And just knowing. And so it's like just being able to appreciate, because you tell me a day in your life where you just haven't felt bad. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's your next card. This lets me know that you definitely had a lot of grief in a past life, and this would have been a childhood grief as well.
What is it?
So
What's it?
if you see it, it's a little teddy bear.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so this speaks of heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be quite possible that in a past life, you either lost one of your parents or you may have been orphaned, or all I know is that in a past life, you had a heartbreak early in your life. And so that's why you come into this lifetime and you don't receive what you needed as a child, do you see how it would amplify that heartbreak in your childhood in a past life?
Yeah. I've had to
Yeah.
grieve. I've had to grieve my mother's relationship at a young age so I could move forward without feeling all that pain in there all the time. So it's like I had to grieve it, right? Like, so I love my mother with all my heart, don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, it's in order for me to move on, like I grieved already like that.
Yeah. And so, but what I'm saying is, when we come to this life with a past life that is associated with a heartbreak from a childhood,
Yeah.
it would just amplify your
Yeah.
heartbreak in this
Yeah.
life. And so, my point about looking at past lives is you almost have to separate the two in order to resolve the two. So it's like being able to see, like you almost have to separate them, because your heartbreak that you feel in this lifetime has just been even more amplified because you came in with that heartbreak.
Hmm.
So it's really being able to appreciate it. And there's no doubt in my mind that you are moving away from that. But
Hmm.
it's just being able to see that if I come from a past life where there was heartbreak in my life as a child, then it's just going to, and we revisit that very same type of heartbreak, it's just overwhelming. And
Hmm.
so it's just very interesting for you to know that there's no doubt in my mind that it just amplifies everything. So it's being able to resolve both.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's your next card. And if you
More
can
shame.
see, this is a liberation that you're going through.
Okay.
So it's a liberation of your spirit. It's a liberation of your physical body. It's a liberation of your history. It's a liberation. It's just where you want to be free. And there's no doubt in my mind, in a past life, you were oppressed, that you absolutely were oppressed. So do you see how, if you come here from a past life with emotional injuries from a heartbreak as in your childhood, and then you felt that you were chained, because this, out of both cards, both of these cards have chains in them. So it
Hmm.
lets me know that no doubt in my mind that you were oppressed in a past life. And what you're doing in this lifetime is trying to liberate yourself from that state of oppression. You have the freedom to be everything that you want to be. Absolutely, no matter what it is. I believe you when you say, I'm this beautiful, beautiful soul. I believe you. And
Hmm.
all I'm saying is, your soul wants to liberate itself from its history. So you can do that without feeling that you're going to lose anything, like
Hmm.
anything at all. And
Yeah.
because the fact that you had two cards with chains in them, there is no doubt in my mind that you were oppressed in a past life, and that no doubt that it just absolutely helps you to understand why it took so long for you to be able to kind of take back your power in this lifetime.
Yeah.
This lets me know, you see this lets me know you have a very cool mind, that you're creative, that you're inspiring, that you don't look at things the same way as other people, that you're smart, that, like, you have, like, you just be lying there going, oh, I'm going to do this. And you just
Yeah.
do it. Like,
Yeah.
you just do it. And so this lets me know that there's no doubt in my mind, in the lifetime where you were oppressed, it's the one thing that kept you alive.
Hmm.
And so it's like you have this, like, look at this, a little light bulb. When you turn on the light bulb, the whole room changes. So
Yeah.
this lets me know that you have these beautiful ideas, and that you're easily inspired, and that you want, it's not just about your own liberation, but it's really about liberating it, a whole, how you perceive everything. And so, I mean, it's just like, no doubt in my mind, you have this very creative um, mind that never stops. Like, you'll think, oh, I'm going to do this, or oh, I want to do that, and yes, I want to do this. And so that is really what saved you from a past life of oppression.
Yeah.
So it's, and that's what you're trying to do. Like, Talk to me about the line you created last year. What was the line?
So the relationship that I was in, he was only home on the weekends, so I had to have all my time at home, and he doesn't like going to concerts, and I really feel the need to be, I do my thing. I get rid of a lot of things that my energy that I do it there. So I told him, I says, I'm going this year. I'm going to concerts. There were several that actually I wanted to actually go see too. And I says, I'm sorry, but I'm going. Like, and I wasn't planning on taking him either. Like, I was just going to go and do this thing for myself and give back to myself what I've been missing. So, and that made me, and he wasn't too sure what to think about that. He was maybe a little upset, but, and I just felt okay with it. Like, I felt this whole, like, I'm going and I'm going to, and in my mind, I'm there. And then COVID hit and I couldn't go to any, but, but I mean, like, it was the satisfaction of me saying, I'm doing this for myself. I'm sorry, but might not be here on a Friday or a Saturday. Like it was okay to not maybe see him all weekend, and I'll see him the week after. Like, it was just, I was the chain of being attached and had to be there. Like, even girls weekend.
Do you see how these two cards, I mean, you're a hero. You are a hero. You are a hero. 100%. Like, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I heard you.
Like, think about it. I guarantee you that. Why do you think your freedom? Like, I mean, just kind of take your mind out of your own experience for a second. Let's say if it was somebody else, that they come into this life and they have parents that are very rigid and very restrictive and very reserved and not that that's a bad thing, but it just feels oppressed. Like, it doesn't surprise me when you come from a place in a past life where either you were a slave or you were oppressed or you were bound or you were held or you were stopped, any of that. And it took you till last year, which, by the way, was a past life year. It's a 2-year for you to confront this. Because what you just said, I wanted to get rid of the chains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, all I'm saying is you are a hero. You're a hero. And it's freedom. This is what you're looking for, is freedom of expression. It's where you get to say, if I want to do this, especially with this, like, let me tell you, not only is your heart never going to go away, but neither is this inspired mind. Never.
I love the way my mind works. I have a girlfriend that just loves the way I describe things when I'm telling her what I see. She just loves the way that the words that I use and the way I express it. And she's just like, it's just so adorable, Stacey. Like, it's just in a way that she's never heard before either, right? Like, she just loves listening to me talk about things, and she never knows what to expect when I'm going to say. Like, it's just, I love because when it comes into here, it feels all good down in here too. And that's what drives me to go and do what I want, because it feels like this is what I'm supposed to do as well, right? Like, it feels like it all just goes together.
And for you, it's like freedom of expression, freedom
Yes.
of movement, freedom of choice, all of that. And the reason it is so vital to you in this present life and why you have advocated for yourself for this is because I guarantee you, in a past life, you did not have it. And as you were chained down, and whether you were a slave, all you said to yourself is, I am not coming back this way. There is no way in this world that my soul is going to be in this type of situation. And that's what I love. One thing I definitely would encourage you to do is you have to get some cards. Like, people would just love your readings. Like,
Yeah.
you just have this warmth and this beautiful energy. Yeah. And for you, it's about giving back and receiving at the same time. And there is nothing, I believe, that you can do on this planet that gives you more of that than doing service for other people. So you have to promise me that you'll look at, I could see you working with the archangels. I could see you working with, just this liberation and just allowing people to love their life and being free. And that's one thing that there is no doubt that you love your freedom, because of where you came from. And so one thing I definitely want you to do is I want you just to imagine regressing back to the lifetime where you were bound, where you were completely oppressed, where you were not encouraged, where you were under the influence and power of other people. And I want you to stay there until you release yourself.
Okay.
Like, do you think that that would help you?
This is exactly what I need. I know I need to, I still feel, and I want to like, there's, yes, I want to have what I feel inside of me is, I feel powerful. I feel it's time. It's time now to break that. I have to, I can't stay like this. I have to go like this now. I have to, there's something in me that's just telling me that the chain, like I feel it. I feel it. Like I feel it right now. It's there. It's like, I can't even I can't even explain. I sound like an idiot probably, but I'm trying to do this, and it's to the point where like if there's an ocean in front of me, I'm not gonna part it. I'm gonna push it, and I'm gonna move the water out of my way. Like I feel a force inside me that's ready to push out. Like
Yeah. And see, like with you, because you have this is what I'd suggest to you. Go back to when you were at a time, and we've lived and walked this earth many, many times, but there definitely is for sure, two lifetimes where you were oppressed. I want you just to imagine as when you were 14 years old in that Christ lifetime, and there would be chains on you. There would be chains on you. And it's where you go back and you just stay there and you leave the chains behind. And then you move into where you would have been, gone through some sort of heartbreak as a child.
yeah,
And that just, absolutely would have an impact. And again, you just release the chains, because what you did last year, love, is you just shedded. What you're saying is you want to be this beautiful, free spirit. And no doubt in my mind that you are right on the brink. And this all would have happened. There would have been something that would have just clicked everything in 2017. I mean, and that would have just planted the seed for you to change. And I guarantee that you said, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And so I'm really excited to hear, but I want you got to do it. Ready? Right hand up. I
I
am
am
committed
committed
to, let me just think, to invest
invest
in
in
a deck of cards
a deck of cards
that helps
that helps
people
people
liberate their spirit.
liberate their spirit.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine how amazing that would be?
Oh, it would feel great. Yeah.
And I
I,
mean,
I I'm an uplifter in a positive way. Like I don't focus on negative. I focus on the good. And yeah, the angel cards would be nice. I think you're right. I've been
yeah,
actually been thinking about it. I had tarot cards when I was younger, but they weren't for me. Like they were too negative, and they were too the pictures. I think there was so much that it was just like like it was something that's more freeing would be nice to look at, right?
yeah.
Like
And
more
there's no
freeing.
doubt in my mind that you would just love it. Like, you would
Yeah.
just love it. And people would just love your readings. They would
Okay.
just love it. And there's all sorts of decks out there that speak of the heart. And that's the kind of deck that I believe that you would really, really love doing. And I mean, so I want you to do a little bit of research. I want you to, like, just commit to it. And it just is going to help you just even stand more in your power. I mean, do
Yes.
I think that, this is an important year for you? No doubt in my mind, but trust me, you're coming into even more where you just are able to liberate yourself. And so no doubt in my mind.
This is awesome.
Did you enjoy your reading?
Oh my God, yeah. Actually, if I could ask you a couple questions in private afterwards, there's a couple things that you nailed, like that I really have been thinking about, and we're talking past life stuff. So it's you hit a big one for me. So
Yeah. And so just so you know, it's like, think about how your heart feels so free, love.
Mm.
It just feels so free. Do you
It
have
does.
any other children?
I do have a son,
And his name
Mitchell,
and birth year
96,
and the month
April
and the day?
25th.
See that? Your son shares the same energy as me. He's an old, old soul. Both of your children are old, old souls. And I mean, like, that's what's so, I swear, before you had your children, it's like, please send me someone who will just love me unconditionally. And your children absolutely adore you. They think you're a bit out there, and, you know, like,
Yeah.
no doubt in my mind, but they absolutely
Yeah.
love you. Let me
Yeah.
see what vibration you were in when you had your son. See that? Your son. Can you talk to me about what was going on when you were pregnant with your son?
I was married to his father, who was abusive.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. And I'm here to say that your son let you out of that abuse.
he did.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, how blessed are you?
Hmm. Very. Oh, yeah. I remember the best day of my life was with my son when he was in a stroller looking at me like I was the most amazing thing on the planet. It was fall, my hair's flowing, the leaves are crunching, and that was the best day of my life.
Yeah. And I'm here to say to you that it's like you have drawn, I'm just excited for you. There is no doubt. Any other children?
No.
See, that's nice. Male, female. I love that. And both of
Yeah.
them, absolutely both of them are old, old souls that you have, like, I guarantee your daughter absolutely worships her mother.
No. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
so, you know, like, that's where it's just so amazing. And the really cool thing is that you had two children. And at first, when you told me about your kids, I just felt like there was supposed to be three. But then with the two, it just completely balances both of
Yeah.
your heart energies for sure.
I
With the
had a
mother.
miscarriage after I had a miscarriage after my daughter.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just so you know, like, but this is the way it was supposed to be. Like, you have
Yeah.
a daughter and you have a son that absolutely helped you to sort of find your freedom and speak your truth. And both of your children, stubborn, stubborn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, especially the redhead, my daughter. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Stacey.
Thank
I
you so
just,
much. This change, like this, I needed this.
yeah. So today you go out and you just, I know you do this. I know that you do it, or you can dance naked and under the moon if you want. But it's like, I'm just releasing all of this. I'm letting it all go. I'm grateful for every lesson. I'm grateful for all of that. And trust me, that anger that's going on with you, it's like just hearing the truth. Like, that's one thing I found with my own recovery. It's like hearing the truth about who we are helps to release us. And then you know you're working in the right space. And so, you know, just, I mean, like with you, it's so neat. I celebrate your liberation. I celebrate the fact that you released yourself from a state of oppression, because I'm telling you, out of all my cards, and there's 78 cards in my deck, you have the two cards that have chains in them, and you have liberated yourself, and you are absolutely a hero. You're a
Thank you.
hero. So thank you
Oh,
so much. I
thank
look
you so
forward to
much.
hearing you, and just dance. Go and dance in the
I'm gonna
leaves.
go dance. I'm gonna show you. I've got this around me right now, and I'm gonna go walk, and I'm gonna take my dog maybe, and we're just gonna go for a little out there, and I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that.
And just like whatever, when you leave your car, whatever you shed in that field, whatever it is, you come back into the car without it.
Okay.
You just say, I'm just going to leave it out there. And if you're in the middle of nowhere, maybe a good scream would be good too, like just get
Yes.
it out and just, and then honestly, you were just going to feel lighter. Like, honestly, I'm
That was the
excited.
storm. I was connected with the storm last night too. So it I felt like that's what I was really connected to it last night. So that helped for today, and go for the walk today as well will also help, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Stacey.
Thank you. Do you
You
mind if I
take
message you
good.
privately afterwards?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
love.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye,
Okay,
love.
bye-bye.